sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out?
Welcome, hello, everybody.
Be that person that's different and is bigger than you think.
Rise from the ashes is why I like these things these days.
Here, a couple people have been around for a little bit. We may or may not get some others that kind of, find their way in. And if they do, that's great. If not, that's okay. So my name's Andrew David, Blake Newbar's partner program, high performance caller here, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern time, live with this link. And maybe I'll get my buddy to put that link into the YouTube channel so people can see that. So over this week, we've done a number of things. I provided to you guys a life workbook. Hopefully you've taken the time to kind of go through that. For those of you, if you're brand new, Chris, if you can drop the link for the Skype group. We have a Skype group that's just kind of full of some personal development stuff, people just kind of supporting each other. We do affirmations in there. I provide some additional content. If you'd like to join when I do show slides during these high performance calls, that's the place that I normally place them. Doesn't cost anything. It's free. It's extra training. If you like it, great. If not, that's okay. No skin off my back. With that said, today, I read a couple of posts from some people that I've been working with for a while or that I've known a while in the space, talking with some of you guys. One of the biggest obstacles that I typically see is there's this thing called imposter syndrome. There are people that don't worry about the imposter syndrome and they post things that just simply aren't true. They make claims or they take other people's claims and they use them for themselves. There is something called, has anyone heard of something called Predatory Seo? I mean, that's what I call it. So it may not be exactly that, but it's essentially when people will do reviews or they'll comment in a way to put negative reviews out there. And really the only thing they're trying to do is they'll say, that's really bad, so you should check out mine. Right? Has anybody kind of heard of those things? I know everyone's saying that Robert's got something that's pretty awesome, but it's, nobody should listen to him, but I've checked something out that's pretty cool. You should click my link, right? A lot of people have done that. And it's a very, very common thing out there. I've got a friend and people do it with Blake because he's successful. And so they'll target him. And so you'll read these reviews that may be negative. And then really, if you read the review, they're just saying, but I found something, so come buy my stuff, right? I have a friend that did very, very well online, still does, but had a program for a while that was just exceptional and was targeted so much by some of these people that he had multiple lawsuits out because it was frivolous and it was, derogatory and done in a way that really was just there to, diminish his business and boost theirs. And it's crazy that you've got that side. And then you've got people that try and claim other people's, successes as their own. And it's one reason why this whole digital marketing world has at times, and maybe you felt hesitant to market something because you're trying to think, well, I don't have this level of success. What do I do? I don't want to claim someone else's success. How can I step into this? And then you have the partner program where you've got testimonials there and you go, well, that's not directly, it is for your product, guys. I do want to make that clear because you've got the same product. Those other people have used this product. And so the testimonials will work, but how do you put yourself out there in a way without feeling without worrying about the imposter syndrome or trying to make claims that aren't yours and things like that. Now I've done some of these, before and training with this topic. And I just wanted to kind of touch on it today because I want to send you guys into the weekend thinking about how you want to approach things. There's a great training inside of Russell Brunson's book. Go get .com Secrets if you don't have it. It's free other than shipping, I think. With a word of warning, he will put you into a funnel and you'll be offered all sorts of other stuff. You don't need all the other stuff. I'm just telling you to get the book. If you don't want to get the book, there are articles about this. There's trainings about it. I've done trainings about it. I'm going to touch on a couple of things, talking about something called the attractive character. Okay. Some of you guys have heard of this. So anybody remember me talking about it? The attractive character. So the attractive character is, this is a little design straight out of Russell's book. Now, Russell's just the most common place that you can see it. He's not the guy that created this, by the way. Most marketing, most tales of success, most great quotes have already been invented. You just get to put your spin on it. And that's one of the great things about this, right? All of these guys have done that. So there's this attractive character. This is essentially you. This is how you put yourself out there. Now, if we look on the right-hand side, that's where I want to start. You have 4 different identities. You have the leader, the adventurer, crusader, the reporter, the evangelist, the reluctant hero. This idea of the imposter syndrome comes about because everybody thinks they have to be the leader. I'm going to define that for you in a second, but it's essentially, look at me, look at all of the things that I've done, look how amazing I am, I'm going to teach you. And everybody kind of thinks that they've got to do that, and that's where you run into issues. That's where you kind of struggle with stuff. And so there's these other identities that you can choose, and you can, in a way, kind of go between one or two or graduate from one into another. But these identities are there. Now, on the left-hand side, the elements, backstory, parables, character flaws, polarity. Those are things that can help your audience connect to you. There's something that everybody has a little bit of. Who's got a little bit of everybody has a backstory. How much and how you share that's kind of up to you. Parables are simply the stories that you tell to connect with people. The character flaws show that you aren't perfect, even though some of you may be. Do a little, research. Ask some of your friends what a character flaw may be, because you might not be able to see it in yourselves. I know some of you are real close to perfection there, so you might have to do some digging. And then I had to reach out to my ex and ask, because otherwise I would never have found them. Anyway. And then you've got polarity. So it's being willing to be controversial, at least in a little bit of different ways. So what challenge did you overcome to get to the point where you are today? A little bit. This is your backstory, is what humanizes you. It's what gives your audience a reason to follow you. It's what shows them that you started right where they are, or the path that you're on, right? Or that you're on their path. Your story is what gives your audience hope that they can achieve their goals, which should ideally be aligned with what you're selling them. So, yes, I can do that on that private comment there. So, good morning from Austin. Yeah, everything there. Okay. So, does that make sense? Identities, elements, who you are, that kind of stuff. Yeah? A little bit? All right. You don't have to be, the imposter syndrome comes about because you're trying to think, well, I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not Dean Graziosi. I'm not Russell. I'm not Blake. How can I connect with anybody? Why would they listen to me? So you pick one of these other attractive characters. You go, well, I'm not the leader. Great. That's fine. Most people aren't. Most people don't start there. Okay. And if you haven't done it, don't go out and claim that you've done it, because then you just look kind of foolish, right? Because at some point you'll get a question and you won't be able to answer it. And if you've established yourself as this, then you're going to look real foolish. But if you said some of these other things, and I'll share kind of that reporter evangelist or the adventurer, or things like that. If someone asks you a question, you go, hey, you know what? I'm not totally sure. I'll go find it. That works because that's who you are. Think about your professional life. Now, all you guys know, I mean, most of you do. I did cleaning and restoration. So I started with carpet cleaning. And when I first got started, I was working with my ex-father-in-law, and most of our clients we had a big commercial client where we did churches, we did buildings all over the state of Florida. And for me, it was pretty straightforward, right? When I started, it was, here's the big truck mounted machine that's got this, car engine in it, and these heat exchanges, and it heats up the water, and then the water comes out at pressure, and you've got your wand and you're cleaning. These are carpets. These are dirty carpets. If they're real dirty, you spray them with a pre-treat, and then you clean them. And when you clean, you pull it, you got the trigger open and you're wetting it down, and there's a vacuum right there. And then you do an extra dry stroke or two if it's really dirty. And that's about what I knew when I got started, right? Wasn't super complicated. I learned a little bit. I studied some, but I didn't know a whole lot of anything other than dirty needs cleaning. Too much soap will leave it dirty because you don't get 100% of the water out, right? Like that was the big thing. Well, so after a few months doing the job, and I kind of had this feeling like I knew what was going on, and I knew how to get gum out, and I knew how to get this stain out, and I knew how to get that one out. And really it was just, this product is a gum remover, and this product is, this remover, and this product is a red stain remover. And so we went into one building and we were talking with the facilities manager of that building. And as we were talking, he started to talk about nylon carpets and the 5th generation nylon carpets and generation 6 nylon carpets. And he was talking about the filaments, and he was talking about how these fibers were, twisted a certain way, and the light reflecting, and, all of these different things. And I remember sitting there, and, my father-in-law's with me, and I'm in this conversation, and I'm going, I don't have a clue what this guy's talking about. You're just sitting there like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Anybody had one of those situations where your customer knows a hell of a lot more about your product than you do? I was, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got to, yeah. That's a good point for sure. But I remember thinking in that moment, I am never going to get myself into another situation like this. I am never going to be standing in front of a customer where they know more about my job than I do. And so it was like right after that, we left that building and I started looking up. So I didn't even know, but there's the IICRC, which is the International Institute of Cleaning and Restoration certification. So I booked myself into the very next training class they had. And I went and I got carpet cleaning certified, and then commercial carpet certified, and hard floor care, and did water damage, did mold remediation, did odor, did fire, did all sorts of different things, got all of the certifications. If I went back now, I could retake the tests and, get my CE units and get all my certifications back. I became educated in what I was doing because damn, I felt like a fraud at that point. And I never wanted that to happen again because I had established myself as the expert. Now you guys are online marketers. So how do you come in and not deal with that same situation? Because look, at the beginning, you're learning, and yet you're sharing something that you found that works, which is fine. Okay, so here's how you establish yourself and present yourself as someone that's helping out, right? So the leader is the one that kind of says, look, I will guide you because I'll show you the ropes. I'm going to help you avoid those obstacles because I've gone through everything. I've achieved this level of success. Let me give you what you need. That's Blake. That's Russell. That's Richard Branson. That's Robert Kiyosaki. That's Mel Robbins. That's, Mary Morrissey. That's what they are. We don't have to be that yet, right? Then you have the Adventurer, the Crusader, and the Evangelist Reporter. I feel like these two is where most of you would find yourself. The Adventurer Crusader is kind of the one that says, look, I'm on this journey and I'm going to do a lot. And I'm going to share with you guys all of the stuff that I'm learning and I'm doing. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to, I'm trying ClickFunnels, and yeah, I'm going to teach you. I've got this great thing that helps you set up a funnel, but I'm going to be doing this as well. And I'm going to share some of the ups and downs that I have. I'm going to kind of teach you what you need, right? I'm going to figure out, maybe you go and you work a little bit with, and I'm not saying you guys have to do this, right? I'm just throwing out examples. Maybe you end up with your niche is plumbers, and you end up reaching out to a local plumber. You say, hey, I'm going to help you out a little bit with your marketing, right? I'm going to give you a couple hours a week. I'm going to do a little bit with your social media. I'm going to help you out a little bit. We're just going to test some stuff out, and I'm going to guide you along. And then to all the other plumbers that you're working with, you're building up this list. You share some of the things that you're learning and that you're doing, or you share what you're doing for your business, what have you, right? The adventurer is the one, think Indiana Jones. I'm going on this adventure. I'm going to share my story, right? That's what the adventurer does. The audience gets to witness the journey so that those secrets become uncovered. The evangelist or the reporter, I think, is really the best. I feel like it's the best fit for most of us. This is my opinion after doing a bit of research, after studying some of this stuff and working with a lot of other people and seeing what they've said and how they've taught. I feel like this could be a great fit for a lot of you. So I'd like to share that. Is that fair for everybody? Does that work? Okay, so the evangelist or the reporter, rather than taking on that solo mission, what they do is they say, let me show you some of these truths discovered by so-and-so. Let me show you some of this, right? So you identify people in your niche as well as top business people and marketers, and you share information from both. So if you're going after realtors, I would find information about, the guys that started Keller Williams, some of the top realtors in the nation. I would comment on some of those top salespeople that work in LA, New York, Oklahoma, Orlando, Vegas, Nebraska, wherever. Find examples of successful people in those industries from all over the world and share some of that. This is a great identity because you don't have to say, I'm the best. You say, I've gotten good at finding information that's helpful for you. Let me share that information. Can we see how borrowing that credibility can be real helpful? Now, I want you to think for a second. As I started to explain what the evangelist and the reporter does, what did I do? I set myself up. I said, I'm not the expert. What I've done is I've spent years studying the experts. I've studied Tony Robbins, and I've studied Russell Brunson, and I've studied all of these men and women, and I've learned what works for them. And I've tested some of it, and I think it would work really great for you guys. You should try this out. I was taking the role of the reporter or the evangelist, right? Not saying I'm the leader. I've done every single thing, although I've done some stuff. I'm trying to give you guys an example of how you can promote yourself in a way where you don't have to worry about the imposter syndrome. Okay. And you can, feel good about what you're doing because all you're doing is you're facilitating their growth. That's the best way to go forward with it. That's the best way to feel good about what you're doing, as opposed to just putting random shit up on your Facebook. Find something that's going to be helpful for your audience, but be willing occasionally to voice your own damn opinion. There's a lot of hiding going on in the world today. And if you hide your voice too often and too long, and you say, well, I'm going to say something later on once I have a bigger audience, once I've kind of established myself, because I don't want to say anything that's going to push anybody away right now. Once you get to the point where you are safe and protected and you've got an audience that follows you, you've forgotten who you were to begin with and what that opinion is. And so you're unable to share it. People will connect with you. Okay. They really will. So be willing to be yourselves. There's power in being yourself. Okay. If you're going to talk to fitness profession, occasionally do a video sitting on an exercise ball, right, Nike? Be willing to do that. It works. Be yourselves. Okay. So I'm going to give you again these slides on the attractive character, and you can go back through, look at the evangelist reporter, look at the reluctant hero. These slides, I've got a lot more in here because we talk about, mission statement, vision statement. I go into all sorts of different things that you can do here. It helps you kind of build out that foundation for who you want to be and how you want to be. As a side note for everybody, and I give this from time to time when I give you some of this content, because especially in their, decide on your attractive character, the mission statement, the vision statement, all of these other things. It's a hell of a lot more in depth, some of this stuff, than what you get inside of the dashboard. Don't let it derail you from getting yourself going. Get yourself started and then continue to build an actual business. Okay. The first thing that you need to do is launch. So this shouldn't get in the way of launching. This is additional information that can help you start to craft what your voice is going to be as you market to your audience. Okay. The other stuff, the mission and the vision, honestly, you can launch before you've got that too. I'm looking long-term and giving just additional business training that can be helpful. Okay. I just want to be real clear about that. You don't need all of these things that I'm giving you in order to launch. You can start without it, especially because we give you a lot of posts and a lot of templates. But over time, craft your voice. Be willing to do that. Okay? All right. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to let you guys think about it a little bit this weekend. Just how do I want to come about it? And if you're already, how many of you guys think that evangelist, that reporter, like that kind of scenario fits with the way you'd like to kind of present yourself? do a little research on it. Hop into that train. Just Google attractive character Russell Brunson, and there's a ton of articles, a lot of different people that have used it. I think it's funny that, and this is a great example. Go Google the attractive character. You'll see a ton of articles written. There's only a handful that give credit back to Russell, and beyond that, it goes to like Glazer and Dan Kennedy. Very few of them actually give credit to Russell. They're claiming it as their own, and some of them use the same damn graphic. It's ridiculous. They're pulling verbatim from the book. LinkedIn articles, stuff on Medium, all over the place. That's what I'm telling you not to do. Okay. If you're going to use someone else's info, give them the credit and say, I did a bunch of research. I found this. It's awesome. You should study this. Let me explain it in my voice so that you see it. Because how much more are you guys willing to listen to me when I go, look, here's some stuff that I found. Here you go. And here's kind of what I figured out too, versus if every time you came here, I was like, every single idea here is mine. It's original and blah, blah, blah. Like, come on. Right. There's a reason I don't like Jay Shetty, for example. I don't know. You guys can go study. Look at how much he's kind of plagiarized on his own. Totally different conversation. But that's the kind of thing that you can avoid. Just be yourselves. Share other people's information. Connect with your audience. And rock.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it.
Yourself. Say go healthy.
So what do you need to
talk?
How do you stand out?
So what you need to do is be that person
It's different, and it's bigger than you think.
Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenix. Have an amazing weekend. Here you go.